Hi, I'm Brenda Such. Welcome to COIPcast, where we talk about new, trending, or just fascinating topics and technologies in online education. For anyone in online education, whether instructional designers, faculty members, or students, we all have needed help at one time or another with our courses. And whether we are aware of it or not, a dedicated group of people is required to maintain our learning management systems and any applications the university provides. At the University of Florida, our dedicated support team, simply and effectively called e-learning support under the Department of Information Technology, cares for the online learning needs. To share about the support required for successful learning experiences, joining us is the team's manager, James Kocher. Welcome, James.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through 3 different segments where we like to get to know your thoughts and experiences related to the past, present, and potential future aspects related to online education. So in our first segment, Digital Origin Story, or DOS, please tell us why and how the department at e-learning support started.
I think it started with Doug Johnson, who was there for many years.
Sure.
And when I came here in 2010, he was in charge of what was learning support services back then.
Okay.
In probably around the mid 2010s, they merged with the help desk and became e-learning support.
Okay.
But yeah, they've always kind of been there, available for phone and ticket consultations. When we moved from Sakai to Canvas, there was a whole team dedicated to transitioning courses from the one learning management system to the other. And some of those are still with me and some have gone on to do other things.
Okay, no, that really helps to clarify too, because then I know in our experience, sometimes when I put in a ticket, I'm just going to put it in the help desk. But I think through help from yourself or others, e-learning is focused on e-learning. And how were you able to, I guess, carve yourselves outside of just the help desk?
Probably because we were like an entity outside the help desk. We just kind of got moved underneath. So a lot of tickets do come to the help desk first and they just get routed to us. But we do have our own dedicated part of the phone tree if you call in, and our own email that you can message. Or on our website, you can actually click on it and fill out a form in the ticket system that comes straight to us.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you. So for that part of our first part is usually shorter, because then we get a little bit of just understanding of what life is like for you all and what's the history. But now for our next segment, which can be a little bit longer, so take your time, is Bits and Bytes, where we look at the present. So what are some of the present projects you and your team are working on? What are some of the most common requests you receive, and how do you all handle them? Maybe we can start off with you telling us about your team. How many people are on the team? What are they like?
Sure. Well, my team has 6 different people and from various backgrounds. I have former middle and high school teachers. I have one member who's been around with the e-learning for a number of years, and he also just picked up his 25-year gift for working at UF yesterday.
Congrats.
Yeah. So he took a little trip over to the Rights Union and picked that up.
Nice.
I've got people who have worked in support before, so a nice combination of people, and we really interact very well. And if someone's not sure of something, they'll ask the group, and someone will definitely have a clue of where they should go. So it's a really good environment, very collaborative. You'd ask about projects. We got a couple projects going on. One being, we're trying to switch people to use new quizzes
off of
Canvas. In Canvas, which is a new quizzing engine that's available. And one of my members is kind of like helped lead the transition. Like we reached out to instructional designers, we interfaced with them, we got some good interaction, and been doing training sessions. Previously twice a month. Now I'm only doing once a month, but we're doing the training, and like his job is to kind of be up to all the changes, because they're bringing changes all the time to new quizzes. So he lets me know what the changes are. So that's kind of like his little side project. We're also going through a website redesign. We're getting upgraded to the new Mercury template. So a couple of people are working on that with the web design team, kind of restructuring a little bit, because our website really kind of grew organically without thought. So things are all over. Like, this is a great opportunity for us to restructure and make things make a little more sense. So we're doing that. we're also part of Canvas's early adopter program. And we've reached out to faculty, instructional designers, to see if they want to test things. And some of the big things coming up are AI related. So there's like an AI assisted rubric generator and an AI speed grader assistant, accessibility, which I'm really excited about because I had an opportunity in February to see some prototypes, and all the people who were there were really big on accessibility because of the requirements that we have to meet by next, 2026. So this, hopefully this accessibility checker will do things, and they said it will remediate PDFs that aren't accessible. I'm really hoping it will create alt text automatically for images. So we'll see. So we're going to ready to test that out. And another really cool thing that they have, and I don't know if we'll actually get this, but it's like an AI agent where an instructor can ask the agent, who's missing these assignments, and it'll produce a list of names, and you can say, give them an extension to this date, and it does it for you. So that looks, pretty potentially, very useful. But it's a paid add-on, so we'll see if after our little test program, we'll see if we get to keep it.
Right, but those sound like very interesting, exciting current projects that you all are working on. Now, for those of our listeners who aren't necessarily familiar with e-learning support, those are some really neat projects that you all are working on. But can you help, what are some of the common requests that you all get, and what are some of the ones that you get that you're like, you keep asking us, but that's not what we do. That way people can really see oh, okay, these are classic e-learning requests versus some concepts that this is what you all do, but no, we don't do that. Yeah.
So I like to say that we have two buckets of tickets.
Sure.
We have people who contact us saying, how do I do something?
Yeah.
People contact us saying, I did something without contacting you first.
Oh.
I messed it up. How do I fix it?
Sure.
Yeah. So we want more people in that first bucket.
Of course.
So we definitely want people to reach out to us and ask questions, can Canvas do this, instead of, oh, I thought I'd be able to do this, but didn't realize I couldn't. And now my whole semester is messed up because I was planning for something to work that doesn't work. So I think prevention is very important. I was trying to create a little ad campaign to say things like, before you make a mess, call ELS, or it didn't go through, but just something to get out the word that, give us a call, because we're not just support, we're more like consultants. My team is always ready to listen to what the needs are and what you're trying to do and come up with solutions.
That's really cool. I think there is something in us, which as an instructor, I would rather you all try something and then ask me rather than not trying. But it does sound like in your world, it is better to ask, because to fix those things can probably take both parties a lot more time than.
Yeah. And what I tell clients too, a lot of times, is when they say, oh, I'm sure this is really easy for you. This is something we do every day.
Sure.
Versus, you may deal with it once or twice a year, depending on how much you teach. So we are familiar with it. Just give us a call. That's why we're there, is to make sure that you're able to use the learning management system in the best possible way.
And you referenced it earlier about how your team is so diverse, with varying experiences, and as consultants, they're there to listen and provide solutions. And if one person doesn't have it, it sounds like there's a way that they can come as a team to then figure out something. Can you walk us through maybe an instance where you all had to, or maybe it could be a standing meeting or something, where you all go into a room or you're on Teams or something and you try to figure out a solution to something?
Our Teams chat's pretty active. And if someone has a question, they'll ask there first.
Sure.
And a lot of times there might be something that, oh, I'm experiencing this, don't know what it is. And someone might be like, I remember something like that from 3 years ago, and we'll be able to remember, because with troubleshooting things in Canvas, it's not like a flow chart you can go through.
Right.
There's multiple things that can be going
if A
wrong.
or B or C. Right.
So having that group where you can bounce those ideas off, or, hey, does anyone remember how to do this? It's been really helpful.
That's neat. And that's comforting, because then you don't have to feel like you as the one person need to support whoever is in front of you at the moment. I can also attest anyone who reaches out to e-learning support, they are very responsive and very knowledgeable. So that is my shameless plug for e-learning support. James is not giving me anything for that. So no, I mean, I know there is a process to putting in a ticket, but I do know that once that ticket is received, you all are very responsive.
We do Canvas training.
Okay, yeah, that's right, the training.
We do 2 classes, like a basic build and design.
I know, I'm sending someone to his class.
A little
by the end of the month, yeah.
And then another one that's a little more advanced. It's called Facilitate and Engage. Is more about using the tools during the semester to do grading, to reach out to students, to create rubrics, those kinds of things.
But I'm glad you just said what you said, because then that is a nice segment into our third segment, which is Tech Forward. What do you think the future will be like as you continue to support the university? You've already touched upon how we're bringing in more AI-related support. How do you think it's going to play out? I mean, it's really neat to see that they're coming in. There's that fear of people are like, oh, if we have AI, it's going to they're going to be the new support. They're going to take our jobs. What are your thoughts about that?
I think there's no running from AI.
Sure.
It's I remember when it broke, it was like 22, like December of 22.
After COVID, we had COVID, and then we had this new
AI
thing called AI.
And
it wasn't new, but
GPT was released, ChatGPT was released, and it was like, I knew it was going to be not only a game changer, but a disruptor.
Sure.
And, I've seen various thoughts and feelings on AI in education. Some people are really embracing it, and some people are like, don't even use it in my classroom. So my team and I are really looking to get more up to speed on AI use in education, so we can provide some of that context when people contact us. But I think AI is really going to be the biggest direction. Now, as far as AI taking our jobs, I think if we had some kind of AI chatbot in Canvas and people go like, how can I make an assignment? That would be really nice. And then use us for the more difficult things.
Sure. Because then otherwise you're spending the time answering the same question.
Yeah, and kind of goes back to the second bucket where people contact us after the fact. It's mostly a training issue. And there's no required training to use Canvas at UF. So I advertise in Canvas about when the training sessions are. We push it, and people will give us a call like, oh, hey, by the way, we've got this training coming up. But there's no way that we could train every faculty member on how to use Canvas. So having something in Canvas would be ideal, that people could easily just ask the basic questions.
Right. Hey, I accidentally deleted this. How do I get it back? Or things like that. So in that vein of your team, whether or not an instructor wants to use AI, it sounds like you all need to be ready for those who do. Do you feel like that's spread you and your team out a little bit more? Because maybe before AI, you had to you focus on a certain area. Now it seems like the spectrum is wider between just the basic questions that maybe someone versus, or maybe then the more advanced AI. So how do you manage that kind of growth?
Well, we wouldn't necessarily be AI consultants, but it would be important to know, like, what are the trends in AI in education, and how could we relate that to their needs and what's capable in Canvas?
And as a leader of your team, how has it been kind of leading? So James and I have a love for Star Trek, and as the captain of the ship, what are you doing to kind of navigate your team? What kind of conversations are you all having to prep for the future?
Well, I just completed the AI Squared Institute's 4-day AI fundamentals. Thank you. Yeah. And I'm encouraging my team and to take it, because it was a really good course. It wasn't just like, here's how AI works and all the technical stuff. I mean, it got into ethics, got into use. It'll be really beneficial for us to go through the applications and classroom use. So I think the more that who can take that, look at that foundation in AI.
No, that's really encouraging. Again, I feel like you all are a little bit of the unsung heroes. And so to get to hear and see all the work that you all put into it, to stay updated, not just being more reactive, but more proactive, in helping people at the university, that's really encouraging. Because then no one wants to go to someone who they feel like, oh, I don't know if they know, but to hear that you all have done the prep work, have the infrastructure set up, is really encouraging.
And I know when something big comes out in Canvas, we talk about what we should let people know about. And that's what my emails come from, is we're like, which of these changes are really going to affect our users. So we'll make sure people know about them, because it could be a UI change, just something's going to look different, or fundamentally how something actually works. So it's important for us to make sure everyone knows about that. So we'll get together as a team, look at the release notes, like, all right, we should include this, not include this, and then I can write my emails, which everyone gets and
which
reads.
We all get them, and they're very helpful. Are you all put into situations thinking about forward planning, where you get some note from an application or Canvas, and you all have to make a decision of if this is something that's going to be rolled out as soon as possible, or something that may not be rolled out for like another year or two? Do you have experiences like that?
Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll test it in our beta instance first, to see how it works. And if it's something that's would be beneficial, then we kind of bring it to our teaching and learning committee and saying, hey, this is something we could turn on. Should we turn it on for everyone? Is it something we enable that they can turn on themselves? Like right now, we've got a couple of AI things that are enabled. They're just not turned on at the course level, that you have to turn on themselves. One is a discussion summary that will use AI to summarize all your discussions in the class. And it's just for teachers. Students don't get it. There's another one that is for both teachers and students. It's an AI smart search. Right? So these things are on. They're just not enabled by default in class. But people can go into their settings under feature options and turn those on. So yeah, we'll go through a whole review process and then take it to the committee to see what they say about turning it on.
And anyone who isn't at the University of Florida, I think it would probably be okay if they reached out to you for even just ideas. How do I manage my own e-learning support team and things like that? Would that be?
I get emails from people, other institutions a lot, but either asking we've talked with people who are looking to move to Canvas, wanting our ideas. I actually talked to someone who wants to use Respondus Lockdown browser at their college, and they're like asking information. So yeah, we do a lot of collaboration, and we've actually started working with Indiana University a little bit. We met them last year at InstructureCon, and one of my team members interacts with them. We were looking at some of the tools that they made. They're looking at some of our processes. So yeah, it's really nice to be able to interact with other institutions around the country, because we're one institution. And the way we do something might be different from someone else's, and their ideas might be better than ours. I'm always looking for my team to give input on, how can we make our processes better, either internally or with the university.
No, that's awesome. And then that just really increases the academic community. People are like, oh, research, but even something like support, e-learning support, people don't have to reinvent the wheel. Well, James, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
This was very helpful. Thank you, listeners. Until next time.